It looks like I'm in a different location from my last video, but really there's just a different blanket on the bed. I am here today with my Spooktober 2018 Read-A-Thon TBR. I'm pretty excited about it. I do have another book that I am reading this month, hopefully before the Read-A-Thon, that I'm going to mention as well, because it's also a spooky book. I'm currently reading Lifeblood by Gina Showalter. I'm about halfway through, and I've been reading it for a while, like 2 weeks I think. It's a sequel to First Life, which I absolutely loved, and I'm really not enjoying this nearly as much as the first one. And I just want to watch Grey's Anatomy instead of read this. And I'm really not sure if I just don't think that this book is as strong as the first one, or if I was just in a completely different place in my life when I read the first one, and all of the things that are bothering me about this one were in the first one too, but just didn't bother me at that point in my life, because there was a lot of different stuff going on. I'm really not sure, so I'm not really, like, it's okay, this one, but I'm really hoping that I can get it finished within the next few days. It's currently Thanksgiving long weekend for me here. There are some family events happening, but I've got nothing going on tomorrow, and everything's closed tomorrow, so maybe I can get it finished tomorrow and then get started on the next book that I want to talk to you about, which is The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. This book is apparently really spooky. The synopsis doesn't seem really spooky, it seems really intriguing. And I guess it could be spooky, but it seems more like intense than spooky, but I've heard it's really spooky, and I'm really intrigued, I'm really interested, and I really wanted to read this in October. I kind of did want to read it during the read-a-thon, but I was afraid that if I picked this as one of my read-a-thon books that I wouldn't end up getting to it, or that this would be the only book I ended up reading, or something like that, and I did want to read it this month, so I decided to read it before the read-a-thon starts, and then read my other books that I'm going to talk about in a minute for the read-a-thon. So this is about a family who lives in a cabin that's really far away from any neighbors, and the little girl in the family is outside playing, and this man shows up and starts playing with her, and she seems to really like him, but then these other people show up and they seem really scary, so she runs into the house to warn her parents. And the guy who is playing with her says, "Your dads won't want to let us in but they have to. We need your help to save the world." So, yes please. I'm really interested in this. So that is my October pre-read-a-thon book choice. And now let's get into the read-a-thon challenges and which team I'm on. So I have decided to be a part of the Lycans. So take that. Challenge number 1 is to join Spooktober. Read a Halloween-themed book of your choice. So I have decided to read The Scarlet Reaper by Cam C. Wolfe, who is Wolf Shop Publishing here on BookTube, if you weren't aware. This seems Halloween-y because it's about a reaper. There you go. Challenge 2 is to clan up. Pick a clan and read a book featuring your mascot. So I'm reaching here. In case anyone doesn't follow me on Twitter or didn't see me tweeting about this, basically all of the challenges in this read-a-thon, I could read like one book for each of these challenges. Except that I've read them all already, and the point of read-a-thons for me is to get through a bunch of my unread books faster than normal. So it's pointless to read books I've already read, or to read books that belong to other people, which I was gonna do before I realized why I participate in read-a-thons. So here's my reaching. I'm going to read Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman, because it involves a beast in a labyrinth, which could be anything. That could be a lichen. Who knows? But it could be, so that's my book for that. Challenge 3 is to enter a haunted house. Read a book that includes a haunted house. Reaching for this too. So I'm reading A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray, because she goes to a boarding school that has lots of supernatural beings also attending this boarding school. And some people could call that haunted. Challenge number 4 is to perform an incantation. Read a poetry or short story collection. I had the book out for my last video, which was a book haul, and I put it away. Let me go get it. Alright, I have it. It is Pillow Thoughts by Courtney Peppernell, which is a collection of poems and thoughts. So that counts, definitely. It's not reaching at all. Hooray! Those are all the books I'm reading, but I am covering all the challenges by doubling up, so I'm gonna tell you which book covers which of the rest of the challenges. Challenge 5 is to face your fears. Read a book based on something you are or have been afraid of. The book that covers that challenge is The Scarlet Reaper, because I am afraid of dying. Now the last 2 challenges are specified just to my clan, so Lycans. Howl at the Moon. Read a book at nighttime. And the book I've chosen to read only at nighttime is Pillow Thoughts, because pillow thoughts, pillows are on your bed, and you go to bed at nighttime. So I thought that made sense to read this one. And so far I have been reading through it at nighttime as well, and I've had it on my nightstand for a while actually, so I thought this one was perfect. And the last challenge is Pack Instinct. Read a book you feel like everyone else has read and you don't want to miss out on. And for that, my book is A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray. Back in 2012, 2013, everyone and their dog on BookTube had read this book. Everyone. And I hadn't. And I wanted to read it until I saw how big the 3rd book in the trilogy was, and I was like, maybe I don't want to read it because I don't want to read that giant honkin' 3rd book. And time kept going on, and people were talking about it less only because they've all read it already. They all read it like 6 years ago. Holy shit. So anyway, this was at my boyfriend's work's charity book sale. And I got it for 25 cents. It's not a new popular book, but it was very popular at one point and everyone, I feel like, has read it. Except for me, so now I'm gonna read it. I did pretty well during the sBOOktober readathon last year. I read all but one of the books, I believe, that was on my TBR. I'm really hoping that I can read all 4 of these books during that week. We will see. It's my last shot to read a whole bunch of books before I don't read anything for all of November, because I'm going to be doing NaNoWriMo. So, yeah, those are my books. Hope you enjoyed. Hello, and welcome to my end screen. You can click here if you want to check out my Kickstarter for my next book, Tickets to Caresvale, which is a YA fantasy with steampunk elements. The Kickstarter only goes until October 21st, 2018, so there's not much time left to get your hands on one of the really cool rewards. And you can also click up here to subscribe if you haven't done that yet.